Our next question is concerning music and song and the power of the collective feeling around that, the collective power around how a song is so powerful in a collective memory. For instance, a song I ran across called We'll Meet Again brought out very strong feelings and emotions. And I wasn't around at that time. The song is a British song from World War II, and it didn't have any particular meaning for me. And yet, the sense of emotion of what it must have meant to a collective group of people at that time was so powerful. How is that carried over? When I hear that song, it's extremely powerful. I have picked up on what it meant to people at that time and still through the decades after that. It was such a powerful thing. What is the explanation of that carryover of that collective feeling?
Well, the reason you feel that way is because you can relate to the situation, even if you were only a toddler when that situation took place, or maybe not even born yet when that situation took place. You can relate to it. You know, you can relate to the plight of soldiers being out on the field, facing death, having their best friends die at their feet, and dealing with that. And you then take that and let the perspective be, oh, it wasn't just that soldier. There were, tens of thousands of soldiers just like that. And then you think of of all the pain and the suffering and all of that because these people were trying to protect their homeland, right? So when you think of that, then it's your feelings that you can relate to that as a significant thing, and you can relate to those people. You can even kind of go into individual people there and feel their feelings, which is probably what you were doing. You kind of snap into a couple of people, maybe a bunch of them in a row, of how they were feeling and what this thing meant to them and how it was unspeakable. They would come home and they couldn't even tell their families. So you get into that just because you're aware of it and you can imagine it, you can feel it, you can empathize with it, and that makes it very powerful for you. Now, if you were born 100 years from now and World War I and World War II was just a date and a name, that you really didn't have any connection with, you wouldn't have that. If it was about some battle that Genghis Khan had, you wouldn't relate to that. But you're old enough that you had a father in a war. So you can relate to that. And you're old enough that you can appreciate that. There were wars in your own time when you were a young person, and people went to them, and you were associated with people who had been there and done that. So it's a real thing. Somebody that wasn't a real thing to, they'd hear that song and say, oh, well, that's nice. But it wouldn't mean anything at all to them. Or if you were in a mood that you were really focused on ice skating at the time and not falling, not making your ankles fall to one side or the other, and you were focused on that, and the song went by, you wouldn't pay any attention to it. But you're in a mood to, when you hear that, to let your mind travel back and kind of experience how that was and the feelings that those people had. And as you feel those feelings and experience that, that's very emotional. It's just the same as being there, being a part of it, even if you weren't born yet. Doesn't matter. or if you were a toddler. It's a sense of understanding and making a connection with others and what they're feeling. It's empathy, but a little more than empathy. It's not just empathy, oh, those poor soldiers. It's more of being there with them, feeling their feelings, connected to it, not just an outsider looking in and feeling sorry for them, but somebody who's actually experiencing their experiences with them. And then that can be very powerful and overwhelming. And you just need to kind of sit down and cry a little bit or something because it's powerful for you. Now, once you've done that once, where you were at the right place at the right time with that right music, and all the pieces just happen to come together, then it's much easier for that same thing to happen again because you've experienced it once. You may experience something similar to that very easily. And then you keep getting to where you experience those sort of things easier and easier and easier, and you become what they call an empath. And you experience all kinds of things that other people are feeling because you open yourself up to that, connect with people.
So
So
it's more
that's
about more about the person and the collective kind of experiences and connections that they're making rather than tapping in just to that. Well, I suppose that's almost the same thing. Tapping
it
into
is,
that music
and the meaning of the
and the
music.
meaning of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So what was it? What did you say the title was?
we'll meet again.
We'll meet again. Okay. Now, you see, that has some significance to you. You know the significance within which that was made. So
Yes.
had that title been the title of a song that was about two people who met on a bus, decided that they would walk around that day to see the city, and then had a very nice dinner and left and never saw each other again, you'd have a totally different feeling about it. It'd be nice, it'd be cute, it would be romantic, but you wouldn't have the same feelings. It wouldn't have the emotional depth
Yeah.
that this has. So it's not the name, it's not the song, it's really the subject matter, and you're relating to it personally, not just intellectually. You're
Yes.
relating to it on a personal feeling level, feeling it with those people, feeling their feelings, having feelings like them. That's that's the thing. Whereas if it were some song that even if it had the same words, but the meaning was something else, something superficial, something that didn't make a whole lot of difference, then you wouldn't have that same reaction. So it's because of the event and because of your sensitivity to what it was like to be a part of that event. That's why you have the experience. So it's
Well,
not
thank
just
you.
you going off and getting into some past life or some past thing and watching it, but it's because you personally were connecting to their their predicament, their sorrow, their feeling, their experience, their difficulty in processing what they had experienced. You were relating to all that.
Well, thank you so much for answering that. Thank you.
Mhm. I and MBT Events hope you liked this video. We will continue to post videos for free on my YouTube channel, but please understand, these videos are expensive to produce. They represent many thousands of hours of production and editing, as well as all the necessary audiovisual equipment, computers, and software. If you find something of significant value in our videos, please consider supporting their production through our Patreon account or through a one-time donation. It would be very much appreciated. The links are in the description below. Thank you.